Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Living Diaz by Diaz. I'm Angela Diaz, and I'm just kind of living my life, taking it day by day and trying new things. Um, my goal in 2026 is to really level up and take more control of my life, my direction, and just make the best, make the best out of 2026. 2025 was not like a terrible year. Um, I mean, all things considered, it was pretty good. But in reflection, it's like I could have done so much more. I could have done some things better. And, so I'm like, life is short, you know, that's just very a common saying, right? It's very cliche, but then it's like, oh, well, life is short, but it's the longest thing that you're ever going to experience, right? So take it for what it's worth. I don't know, but I would like to make the most of this time that I have and no regrets, right? I'm not going to tattoo it on my neck though. But anyways, I just want to share some life experiments that I am going to be taking part in to just see, what things can be like. So I have my handy dandy notebook. Okay. I like to just jot things down, jot down ideas and the different experiments, things that I want to try out in 2026. And I actually started my first life experiment at the end of December in 2025. Okay, so this is where I got a lot of my kind of ideas for 2026 because of this experiment. Okay, so this experiment was a social media detox for 2 weeks. Okay, so I started this on December 17th. And my social media outlet of preference was Facebook. Mm. I loved Facebook. No, I didn't love Facebook. Let me rephrase that. I was addicted to Facebook. And I did at some point at the end of 2025 realize how addicted to Facebook I was. When as soon as my alarm goes off, I grab my phone and I'm scrolling through Facebook, when I need to be getting up and getting ready for work. Um, I was just spending hours just scrolling. And I didn't really feel good about it. And I was like, I could just feel that I'm just spending way too much time on it. But then it was like, well, there's nothing else to do. And I wasn't sure why it was had become such a strong habit and such a strong time suck. And so I was like, I'm going to try a digital or not digital detox, but a Facebook detox for 2 weeks and see how it goes. Okay, so I started the detox December 17th, like I said. I put a final post on Facebook. I said, hey, I'm going to be off Facebook until January 1st. Happy holidays, everybody, and I will see you in 2026, And then I deleted the app from my phone. And the day I did that, oh my gosh. It was in the evening. This was after work. And that was probably one of the longest evenings I've had in a while. So I did jot down some notes on what my weeks were like, okay, and things that I have observed during this experiment. So week 1, okay. Ooh, there was a lot of automatic phone grabbing all the time. I was always grabbing my phone, and I mean, I remember the first full day, it was like the alarm went off. I'd grab my phone and I'd see that the Facebook app wasn't there. And I'd go, oh, that's right. Um, and then even I didn't even realize how often I was accessing Facebook. So that was a huge realization. Like those first couple days, I was constantly grabbing my phone and looking for that app. When I was, when you're driving your car and you have the phone carrier like right there, and if I'm at a red light, the light just turned red, so I know it's going to be a couple minutes. I click on my phone and I went to look for the Facebook app. Nothing. And I'm like, oh, I just got to sit here at this red light, I guess. Um, when it was slow at work, the emails were slow. It was just not much going on. I'd go and I'd grab my phone, no Facebook. And this just went on like the first probably 4 or 5 days. It was constant. And every single time I grabbed that phone, I was like, gosh, like, do I really grab my phone that often? And am I on Facebook that much? Like, I couldn't even stand there and let my coffee brew without me grabbing my phone to scroll on Facebook. Huge realization for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was really, really on it all the time. And even watching a movie, I'm just like, and I'd grab my phone and I'd scroll through Facebook. It was ridiculous. Okay. Um, so I was bored. Like the first couple days, I was very, very bored. Um, I had a lot of FOMO, fear of missing out. I felt like I was missing out on what was going on. Like, my Facebook family and friends and anything of interest, anything that's going on in the world. I don't know. That was like my one connection. I'm just like, I have no idea what's going on anywhere. So I was just really kind of agitated. I had like an agitation. Um, and it was like, seriously, I was going through withdrawal. I was agitated. I was anxious. I was like kind of jittery, kind of grabby, like I didn't know what to do with my hands. It was ridiculous. Um, so I started finding other things to do. Like midway through the first week, I was like, I gotta be productive. I gotta make some use of this time because the whole reason I wanted to do this detox was to take back control of some of my time. And because I always felt like, oh, I'm so busy, there's not enough time in a day. But then I was spending hours on Facebook, like being completely unproductive. Once I started taking back that time, things got better. Like, and it wasn't even so much as being productive, it's just doing something, right? I had gotten a 1,000 piece puzzle from a thrift store. It was like $4. That puzzle was a lifesaver. I mean, every evening after work, I would sit at my dining room table, like after I cooked dinner and ate or whatever, and I would just sit there and do this puzzle. And I hadn't done a puzzle probably in years. And I used to love puzzles. So I'm just sitting there, listening to an audiobook or listening to music. There was always something going on, either an audiobook or music. And I'm just sitting there putting this puzzle together. No distractions. I wasn't grabbing my phone every 2 seconds. It was nice. Um, and that puzzle, oh my, it took me hours and hours and hours. And I was kind of almost sad when it was done. I was like, wow, that was time well spent. And I just really liked it. And then there was this pile of fabric that I've probably had it for like 10 years. Because I had gotten it because I was making these reusable grocery bags. And so I had made a bunch, but I still had a bunch of fabric left over, and I just never finished making the rest of the grocery bags. And so I pulled out my sewing machine and I was sewing grocery bags in the evening. So I got a couple done. I gave one to my neighbor, my new next door neighbor. I got for Christmas. And yeah, and the other thing I noticed in week one was when I was having conversations with my family, it was very non-distracted. And I noticed how distracted they were because we would be having a conversation and they're like, yeah, no way. And they're grabbing their phone and they're like, no way. Oh my gosh. And then they're just kind of like scrolling on their phone. So that's something that I had never even picked up on before. It's just become so socially acceptable. You know, people just have the phone in their hand while they're talking to someone. And so since I didn't have my phone in my hand, I mean, honestly, Facebook was the biggest thing I would scroll. That was my biggest scrolling thing. I know people have their, some people prefer TikTok. They'll scroll through TikTok, Snapchat I think that's another one people scroll through. Instagram, scroll, 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 scroll. Um, and yeah, so I just became a lot more aware and but I felt like my conversations were a lot more meaningful because I was just so much more focused and non-distracted. It was just I can be very present with my family and friends and colleagues. Um, that was that was interesting. Let me see what else I have here. Okay, so here we are, the second week, week number 2. How did that go? Week 2 that was the week that it kicked in for me. There was a lot less phone grabbing, a lot more focus. I felt more at peace, whereas week 1, I was worried about what I was missing. I was feeling agitated. I was feeling disconnected and feeling kind of jittery. Week 2, I was like, I like this. I felt very at peace. And then I started understanding like how much negative material I was consuming through Facebook. Um, a lot of negative world news, a lot of negative, just all kinds of stuff. There was just so much negativity, and that was just all cut out pretty much. Now I would still read, or yeah, I would still read my local newspaper. I'd still read some Wall Street Journal articles. But as far as that constant, like, it was just always, it's made to grab your attention, right? It's made to get a reaction out of you and keep you scrolling. And, as long as you have like some kind of a reaction, you're going to like be sucked in. And so I wasn't getting that. Wasn't getting that agitation. I wasn't getting that negative emotions or anything like that. I was just chilling. I was living my life, doing my puzzles, doing my sewing, doing my reading. I started getting a lot more things done. Oh, I was so much more productive in week 2. I made some more bags. I was cleaning, I was like, I wasn't rushing walks with my dogs. I would just stroll and walk. I'd have like my headphones on and I would listen to an audio book and I'm just walking my dogs. I took up journaling again. So I just started journaling, because you know, it was just, I just felt like I had so much time. I had more energy, but I was also more relaxed. It was just 100%. By the end of week 2, it was 100% positive experience. It was worth it. It was well worth it. It was very much needed. It was very, very eye-opening and insightful as to like how Facebook had impacted me. Um, and the another side effect of this experiment that I noticed in week 2 was I spent less money. Mm, Facebook knows me very well. Oh, their algorithms are exquisite. They know what I like. They know me and they know what I like. And they would just show me these ads and I would fall for them almost every single time. They know that I love vintage and retro items, and clothing especially. So it's like, oh, look at this site. It's all vintage and all retro inspired clothing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. And I would like fall for it and I would like order this stuff and then it would come and it's just super low quality garbage. Honestly, I was disappointed maybe 99% of the time that I ordered something through an ad that I saw on Facebook. Um, and sometimes I wouldn't even get, it was just like a total scam. Like I wouldn't even get my stuff. And it was really funny because my daughter was here visiting and I was talking about how Facebook scams me sometimes. And she saw this sticker book on my table. And I was like, isn't that a beautiful sticker book? Look at the stickers that it has in it. And she was like, wow. She's like, where'd you get this? I was like, I saw an ad for it on Facebook. I was like, you see, it's not always a scam. And so we were kind of laughing. She's like, you're so stupid. But I was like, sometimes I get my stuff and sometimes it's really great. Other times I'm getting scammed. But uh, uh, so that was definitely a very positive outcome also is I wasn't getting scammed left and right by all these wonderful ads of cool stuff that I want. I'm just a sucker for for buying cool stuff, I guess. So what's the result? Where am I going forward from here, right? Okay, so the result of my experiment, here's what I say. I saved a lot of money. I sure did. It was only 2 weeks, but you have no idea the amount of money that I can easily spend in 2 weeks on Facebook. Let's leave it at that. That's something I'm working on in 2026. So, yes, I saved money. I was more present. I was more focused at home and at work. Um, at work, yes, if there was 2 minutes between emails, I'm scrolling. And I was just disconnected and distracted. So definitely more focused. And then even at home, if I was trying to do that sewing project, and I'm working on a puzzle or making a reusable grocery bag, or if I was cleaning or anything I was doing, it was very, very focused and intentional. And it was awesome. Really liked it. Um, I okay. So then I go into January 1st, right? So I go back onto Facebook. I Yeah, I logged back on and I scrolled for a little bit. And what I found was one, I didn't miss anything. That whole FOMO, that whole I feel disconnected on what's going on. I scrolled through like for 5 minutes and I was like, this is what I was addicted to. Like, this is what I thought I was missing. It was cute. I got to see some of my family, who live further away or whatever, and they put pictures of their families, Christmas, and things like that. And it was cute, just seeing a couple things. But for the most part, nothing. I got nothing out of it. While I was scrolling, I was less likely this time to just keep going. At 5 minutes, I saw everything that I needed to see. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get off of this. Whereas before, I could easily scroll for an hour, at least half hour, usually longer. Because I would, I love dog videos. I love pet videos. And I like funny videos. I like cute things. I just, but this time it was like, huh, okay, all right. Um, and I was very quick to skip past the ads. Anytime I saw like these ads, I was kind of more irritated, like, ugh, skip. Like, so I was able to recognize immediately, like, you're trying to like get me to spend my money. You're trying to get me, it's like these ads and they're targeting me. It's a bunch of junk. Leave me alone. So I wasn't, you know, falling victim to these marketing scams to me. I found that I found while I was scrolling, I was less interested in super dumb stuff. The AI generated weird stuff, like you're starting to see those, like these AI generated catastrophes that are trying to spark some kind of reaction out of you. I'm just like, oh, like really? So there's a lot of AI stuff that I'm recognizing quickly and I'm going right past it. And I'm kind of irritated by it because AI can be fun. It can be fun. If it's there for fun entertainment, you have dogs that have their own little podcast. I love them so much. Um, it's cute, it's adorable. It gives me warm, fuzzy feelings. But then when you have AI that's out there to spread misinformation, um, or to make people upset, or then you even have people, not even just AI, but people that are acting, like this weird, stupid, dramatic, fake scenes. Have you seen that where there will be like, oh, someone's doing like a gender reveal and their husband is going to let everybody know that that's not his baby and he's gonna tell everybody his wife has been cheating on him, like weird stuff, like where people, and the acting is so terrible, it's so freaking fake, and people are just eating this up. They're just eating up all this drama. And I mean, I see that and it just like, ugh, it makes me cringe. And I'm like, why? Oh, why are they wasting everybody's time with this? You'll do anything for views, I guess. But that's the kind of stuff, or I'm just like, skip, skip, skip. So when I was scrolling, I was skipping through a lot of dumb stuff, AI generated stuff, news that, were trying to like get me agitated and irritated, uh, all these ads, so it was just a really big waste of time. Um, so moving forward, how now am I going to proceed with Facebook, right? So I went Facebook free for 2 weeks. I experienced what those 2 weeks were like. I went back on Facebook. Um, and then it was like I had to come to a decision, right? So how did this life experiment change how I see Facebook? How am I going to interact with it from this point forward? Like how has it changed? So my take on this is Facebook still does have some use, right? It's still good for networking. It's good to as a way to communicate with friends that I went to school with, family that's far away, um, and cute pet videos. But overall, like I didn't really miss it. Um, and I don't see myself really being on it as much as I was before. So what I have set up for myself going forward in 2026 with Facebook, I am not going to put that app on my phone again. I'm going to leave it off my phone. Um, and I am going to check it 3 times a day for 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes sometime in the morning, 5 minutes sometime in the afternoon, maybe during my lunch break, and then 5 minutes in the evening. That is it, because I have noticed, and that's what I've been doing the last couple of days. And it's kind of funny because, you're so used to clicking on an app. Now I go to like the web browser and I'm like www.facebook.com. But it's not bad because it's 5 minutes. I see everything that I want to see in 5 minutes, usually even less. The last couple times I was on there for maybe 2 minutes. I was just like, off. And I just have way better things to do with my time. And my days seem so much longer. Whereas before I'm like, oh my gosh, I always felt rushed. I felt like there was not enough time in a day. My days have been feeling pretty long, to the point where like I used to always go to bed at 10:30. That was my bedtime, and sometimes later, 11:30, 12 o'clock, but usually I average around 10:30 p.m. for bedtime. But my days would feel like so long. Sometimes I was in bed by like 9:30, because I came home, I did my thing, I cooked dinner, I washed the dishes, I walked the dog, I did some journaling, I did some of this, I did some of that, and I feel like I'm doing so much in a day. By 9 o'clock, I'm like, I might as well just go to bed. So, oh my gosh. So that's what I had to share with you today. I hope that you got something out of it. Let me know in the comments if you have done a social media detox, or if you want to do one this year or soon. Because I've been seeing a bit of other people's experiments on YouTube. So that's one of the things that I was also doing when I was on my Facebook detox. I was going towards YouTube to, watch some videos, and that's where I was getting some entertainment. And I was curious how other people were doing with their social media detoxes. And it's just been awesome. It's been awesome to see, the insights that they've come out of it, and um, how they've been affected by it. And it's kind of, it's almost across the board. It's At the end of the day, it was a very positive experience, and it was very eye-opening, and it was like, hey, we're backing off of this social media nonsense. You don't have to cut it out completely. I'm not cutting it out completely, but I am limiting it, and I am aware now of what it has done to me in the past, and how it took so much of my time and my energy and my peace, if I have to say that, like my peace, because it would just leave me with some bad feelings sometimes if I would scroll too much. Um, so yeah, put in the comments what your experiences are, or what your experiences have been with your own social media detoxes, or if you're planning to do one soon. Because this is awesome, and I think everybody everybody needs to do this. All right. Well, I will see you again in my next video, where I am going to be talking about my next life experiment. And that one is surrounding becoming a notary. That's different. So I'll see you in my next video. Ciao.